Listen, yeah, the job market in 2026, if you have ego, just forget about it. Every time I come on this app and I see someone giving advice about how to get a job, how to impress, so on and so forth, it all centers around being a beg. Email the hiring manager, express your undying interest for the role, go on LinkedIn, find out about their previous jobs, ask them questions on their previous jobs, make them laugh in the interview, build a good rapport. Like, bro, do you guys want me or not? Don't get it twisted, I get it, but golly, like, you walk into some of these interviews and you'll be the biggest beg ever. Like, oh my gosh, I appreciate this opportunity so much. I've done so much research on this company. Yes, I've researched your background. You were into this, you were into that. So did it. And then before you've even left that room, you'll just look on your phone and they've told you to piss off. As in, you will make them shine all 32 teeth. Some of them will even say you smashed it. Before you put your foot on the Elizabeth line, you check your phone. Unfortunately, you have been unsuccessful.
They told her to smile, research the hiring manager, show undying enthusiasm, and still sent the rejection before she hit the exit door. That automated email doesn't care how much she prepared. The whole performance they ask her to put on is just theater because the decision was already made before she finished her last sentence. Stop blaming yourself for a system that was never designed to be fair to you in the first place.
On this occasion, but we appreciate... Shut up, man.
What's your GPA? What's your GPA? A 2.8? I literally got a 6-figure job right out of college. How? Because I applied to 100 jobs every single day for the last month. My friend who works at Meta showed me this trick that got both of us our current jobs. And I don't gatekeep, so let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. I go on this app called Sprout. I upload my resume, and every single time I like a job and I want to apply to it, all I do is click apply. And it will apply for me on the company website with a tailored CV. And it actually doesn't get easier than this.
In my opinion, the fastest way to get a job right now is to go outside of LinkedIn and outside of Indeed. Like, those websites did me so dirty. Like, they're so oversaturated and there's way too much competition on there. Like, your best bet is to outsource. Use other websites. So I use this one called remotejobsfinder.co. It got me the job that I have right now, and honestly, it's everything I could have ever dreamed of having. You literally just go in, create an account, upload your resume, put in the filters for the type of job that you're looking for, then make sure to hit that auto apply only at the bottom of the page. Thousands of jobs are going to show up for you, and then you'll just apply to like 2 or 3 of these yourself, so then you can teach the AI how to apply just like you, and then after that, AI is going to take over and start to automatically apply to dozens and dozens of jobs on your behalf. It literally maximizes your chances of being hired. So if you were like me and LinkedIn and Indeed just did you dirty, you've got to give this a shot. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.
You're not alone if you're struggling to find a job. Unemployment has risen to 5%, and the number of job vacancies has fallen to its lowest level in 5 years. But what's brought this on? Analysts say that it's the effects of the Middle East war, warning that demand for workers could weaken as the conflict continues. Between February and April, the number of job openings fell by 28,000 to 705,000. That's the lowest level since April 2021, suggested by the Office for National Statistics. And if you're looking for a gig in hospitality or retail, it could be trickier, as these industries have seen the largest reductions in vacancies and payroll numbers, the ONS have said. The drop in vacancies suggests businesses...
14.7% youth unemployment, the highest since 2014. Let that actually sink in. Only half of 16 to 24-year-olds are in payroll work right now, and the industry's getting hit hardest: hospitality and retail, which are literally the traditional entry points for young people starting out. So the doors that used to be open for first-time workers are quietly closing one by one. Businesses are just pausing recruitment like it's a decision they'll revisit when it's convenient for them. Meanwhile, an entire generation is sitting on hold, rent due, future uncertain, and nobody in power is treating this with the urgency it actually deserves.
Is a pausing recruitment. And of course, it's difficult for people starting out in their careers, with Lancaster University saying the youth unemployment rate has reached 14.7%, its highest since late 2014. And only 50.6% of 16 to 24-year-olds were in payrolled work in December 2025, falling from 54.9 in 2022, according to the IFS. But how are you finding the job search?
Nobody is hiring right now. Have you ever thought that maybe it's just you? Maybe you are just looking in the wrong places. So I'm going to put you onto 2 websites that are guaranteed to get you a job. One of them is called Hiring Cafe, and it has over 90,000 jobs that nobody knows about. The next one is called Sprout. All you need to do is upload your resume on the AI generated resume and cover letter. Literally just start swiping right and the AI will automatically apply to the job for you with a personalized cover letter and resume.
If you thought the job market was bad for the 2025 grads, this year is about to get even worse. And it's not just new grads, it's also people who've been in the workforce for a while. The only way to get a job is to stand out. It actually makes more sense after you graduate to pursue your own projects and build real skills. This way you can stand out in a sea of applicants with just degrees. Plus, if it works out, maybe you don't even need a job. Getting started used to be so much harder because you had to figure out every step of the way, but right now, as long as you have a .edu email, as a student you get free access to this course that teaches you about AI and how to start a business with it, and usually it's like $100 a month, but if you're a student it's free. And if you have a hard time finding it, just drop a comment, say help, and I'll send you a link to this.
2026 is shaping up to be a worse job market. I was right, and I hate that I was right, but I was right. 2027 is going to be probably the earliest that we start to see a good job market recovery. We might see something in the third quarter of 2026 where we start to see more positions opening up, we start to see more hiring, but right now where we're at is employers are hiring fewer people are quitting, and in some industries it's even worse. Now there are some growth industries out there such as healthcare, for now. Other areas, government work is experiencing one of the worst declines in recent history, as far as I know. It has experienced a 9% decline since January.
Government work, the backup plan, the stable, safe option your parents swore by, down 9% since January 2025 alone. That's not a dip. That's a structural collapse happening in slow motion. And the people most affected are the ones who followed all the right advice, studied hard, aimed for stability, and now the floor is gone. Here's the real talk, though. Knowing how to tell your story is the skill that separates people in a market this brutal. Not your GPA, not your job title, how clearly you can communicate your value to someone who has 100 other options. That's the thing nobody teaches you, and it's the only thing that actually moves the needle right now.
2025, that's kind of problematic if you're trying to make it into government work. We're going to see more and more industries experiencing that type of a significant decline, though. Things will get worse before they get better. However, that doesn't mean that it's impossible. You just need to know how to tell your story, and that's how you can get a job. You need to signal your value. That comes through being able to tell your story well. This is exactly what I help my clients do. I help them talk about what they've already done. I help them talk about the things that are important to them, the things that shape who they are in a way that employers see, in a way that they value, in a way that they think, I want this person to come work for me. If that sounds like something you want, go check out the link in my bio, book a coaching session, buy one of my diagnostic guides to help you start along this path, read the blog for free, or get on the newsletter and grab a freebie. Whatever you do, just start learning to tell your story better, okay?
It has been quite hard, to be honest.
High school students and recent grads say they're sending out job applications all over the place, but aren't hearing back.
I've applied for over 100 companies. And so far, I haven't found any, even for an interview.
The competition is tough, even for entry-level gigs. 5,000 people turned out at a recent job fair in Calgary, hoping to get hired.
I'm just about to finish grade 12, so it's something I can do full-time.
The latest numbers are out showing some job gains, but not enough to offset the losses to start the year, with the youth unemployment rate sitting at 13.8%. So far this year, the country has lost about 95,000 jobs. Young workers lost half those jobs, but they represent only 14% of the labor force.
We haven't seen any job creation for that cohort for the past 6 months to more than a year.
So what's behind these numbers? Experts say there's a number of factors tied to economic uncertainty.
Many of those positions are actually being scooped up by people who are taking on second jobs, who are maybe later in their career.
Some younger teens say age itself is the barrier.
I'm 15 and I turn 16 next month. It's a bit difficult to find jobs that are willing to hire younger kids.
That's why so many are turning to job fairs to make a face-to-face impression.
If I could get in front of an employer, I think I'll be able to articulate myself better.
When you get the opportunity to talk to someone in person, it's easier to connect.
5,000 people at one job fair in Calgary. A 15-year-old saying she can't get hired because of her age. This is what the ground level actually looks like, and it's heartbreaking. These kids aren't lazy. They're showing up. They're trying to work the system the only way available to them. And she's right that face-to-face still matters more than online applications. But when thousands of people are competing for the same handful of spots, even showing up in person isn't enough. Keep a positive attitude. They say, just keep putting yourself out there. At some point, you have to ask how long someone can keep that energy going before it breaks them.
With one another.
But how do you even get a job without any experience?
Keep positive attitude and just keep putting yourself out there because it is going to be tough. It is going to be a competitive market.
What about you? Are you having a hard time finding a job? Let us know in the comments below.
If you're on the job search in 2026, here are a few things that have changed in the past year and also a few tips to help you with your online applications. Indeed.com has had a really steep decline in the last few months. There have been times I know that there are jobs on there that just don't show up. Like most ATS programs, it'll block certain resumes from moving to a recruiter, and it prioritizes people who use their AI resume builder. So there are some employers saying that they're getting 300 or 400 applications of people who are grossly underqualified and not getting any applicants who are actually qualified. So instead I use Hiring Cafe, which pulls directly from company websites. The next tip is that every employer is using AI for their application process, and you should be too. I don't know why everything relating to AI is so confrontational, but if you're watching this video, it's being filtered through AI. A lot of people are hiring others to apply for jobs for them on Fiverr or Upwork. It's not ideal, but I've applied for over 3,000 jobs in 2026, and at least half of them have either been fake or the company's not actually hiring. And on that note, my last point, knowing people has never been more important. Even being friends with the IT guy or someone in customer service at a company can mean all the difference on your application. Yanni Hooser, have a great weekend.
Entry-level hiring dropped about 6% this year. Grads are submitting 100 applications and not hearing back. I want to talk about the part that's actually in your control. The job market for new grads in 2026 is genuinely difficult, and I'm not going to pretend it isn't. But here's the thing, the application is not what separates people anymore. Everyone has a degree. A lot of people have the same internships. What actually moves someone to the top of the list is what happens in interview, and most people have never thought to prepare for that. They assume they know how to talk about themselves, then they walk in and ramble. They can't answer, "Tell me about yourself," without stalling. And they don't know how to quantify their experience or handle a curveball question. Being a good communicator is the skill that gets you an offer right now, and it's the most important thing you can train before your next interview. If you have an interview coming up, my coaching sessions are specifically built for this. Link is in my bio.
The application isn't separating people anymore. She said it, and she's absolutely right. Everyone has the degree. Everyone has similar internships. The resume alone stopped being enough a long time ago. What actually gets you the offer is what happens in that room, and most people have genuinely never prepared for it. They assume they know how to talk about themselves. Then they freeze on "tell me about yourself." The most predictable question in existence. Here's the actual tool you need right now. Stop describing your experience and start quantifying it. Not "I helped with marketing campaigns," but "I increased engagement by 40% over 3 months." Give them a number. Give them something concrete. That's what sticks in a hiring manager's memory when they're reviewing 20 other candidates who said the exact same vague things you did.
Let's work together.
Guys, breaking news. If you live and work in the UK, you need to watch this till the end, because a massive new report just warned that up to 163,000 jobs are at risk right now. And this is due to ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Because of the global shipping and surging energy cost, businesses are struggling to cope. Just look at the popular clothing brand Next. They have announced that the war has tripled their shipping cost to a massive £47 million. So that means they are being forced to hike up their prices to survive. And there are a lot of garment factories in places like Bangladesh. They have to drop their output by 40%. But it is not just your shopping bill going up. The EY Item Club report projects that UK employment will shrink by 0.4% in 2026. And sadly, it is lower income regions like South Wales which is going to expected to be hit by the absolute hardest by these job cuts. So I think now it is the time to really prioritize building our emergency fund and focusing on our job security.
If you can't get a job interview in today's job market, why do you think that is? Yes, it's incredibly tough out there. Our unemployment rate just went up to 4.5%. And comparatively, even though that is low, it's creeping up. And we've got AI, then we've got offshoring. So there are less jobs to apply for, mainly in corporate Australia. If you're not getting interviews, number one, stop playing the blame game. Yes, it's tough, but we're still helping people get jobs in this market. Number two, are you reading the job ad? Do you have the experience required? Number three, if you do have the experience required and you're not getting any callbacks, it's most likely your resume. Number three, if you don't have the experience, what are you doing to get that experience? Or if you're in an industry that has hardly any jobs, maybe it's time for a career change.
Everyone's talked about how bad the job market is, but it's just because it's changed. And people are using old advice, which is why you're sending out loads of applications and not getting anything back. So the old job market rewarded personalizing your CVs, sending about 20, getting 10 interviews, and then bang. But in today's job market, attention is saturated and there's massive trust issues between employers and candidates. And then you top that off with AI, it's just AI talking to each other. You're using AI to send a CV, the employer is using AI to review it. So to cut through all of that noise, you need to do this one thing. In 2026 and 2027, the new currency of a job market is personal brand. And I've been saying this for the last 3 years. The only asset that you have in this AI-driven world is your personal brand. It's unique to you, it's personal, and it's trustable.
Personal brand is the new currency. He's been saying it for 3 years, and the market finally caught up to prove him right. You're sending an AI-written CV. They're reviewing it with AI. It's robots evaluating robots, and somewhere in that process, the actual human being gets completely lost. The old strategy of sending 20 personalized applications to land 10 interviews is dead. Attention is too saturated. Trust between employers and candidates is basically gone. Your personal brand is the only thing in this entire equation that can't be replicated or filtered out by an algorithm. Being known as the person who's genuinely skilled at something specific, even among just 10 decision makers in your industry, is worth more than 1,000 cold applications that disappear into the void. Build that reputation now, before you need it, because by the time you desperately need it, it's too late to start.
Being known as an expert or someone who's good at a particular set of skills in a certain industry amongst 10 decision makers is way more powerful for the rest of your career than just sending out loads of CVs. Personal branding done correctly is the asset that's going to carry you for the rest of your career. So if you're made redundant or if AI replaces your job, there are people to pick you back up because they know you for something. If you want to know how to be defensible in this job market, then comment the word personal brand and I'm going to send you a free guide on exactly how to develop yours.
Your college degree is worthless if you don't do these 3 things. Number 1, go to class and get good grades. Depending on where you go to school, you're probably paying anywhere from $50 to $100 per lecture. Every one you decide to skip is that money down the drain. Also, these are usually the people who complain that they didn't learn anything in college. That's like paying for karate lessons, not going, and then complaining that you don't know how to fight. Doesn't make any sense. Step number 2 is land internships and work on starting your career during college. I don't care what the boomers tell you. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Just having the degree is not enough anymore. Yes, you do need experience to land even an entry-level job. You do that by landing internships during college. This is especially true if you're studying a good degree like marketing, finance, or business. Because those degrees are very saturated, you're gonna have a lot of competition of people with those degrees, so you better stand out. And the third way to make sure that your college degree isn't useless is to make connections. If you graduate and aren't well connected with people who are in your field, that's your own fault. Talk to professors, people who have internships that you want. Hell, it could even be your friend's parents work at a company that you want to work for. Trying to be super successful alone is shooting yourself in the foot. Leverage the good graces of other people who want to help you, because at one point they probably got help from someone. Do those 3 things, and not only will your college degree not be worthless, you can actually make a ton of money straight out of college. This is how most of my friends graduated, and all of them are making at or above 6 figures. And no, they aren't all software engineers. And follow me for more content.
Guys, one thing I'm starting to realise, as I research the job market more, I'm having more interviews, all of that, is that university degrees, are becoming more and more worthless. Like, listen, so the other day I had a job interview, right? This guy was there also, and he was telling me how he graduated a year ago. He got a first class at a Russell Group uni in a relatively good course. So when I asked him, so why are you applying for this job? Because he has an engineering degree, which is completely unrelated to the job, the sales job that I was applying for. And he said there's literally no flipping jobs, and his degree has
First class degree, Russell Group University, engineering, applying for a sales role that has absolutely nothing to do with his field. Not because he wants to, but because there is literally nowhere else to go. And she's sitting in that same interview room watching this play out, thinking, this is my future too. That moment right there is the reality that the whole get your degree and you're sorted narrative never prepared anyone for. The system sold an entire generation a promise it can no longer keep. And the genuinely frightening part is these aren't people who failed. These are people who did everything right.
Been zero use. So it just makes me question, why am I here? Why the flip am I sat here, working for hours and hours on this degree that's basically I'm still going to be unemployed. I genuinely feel like unless you're doing a degree like that's going to lead you directly to a job such as medicine, healthcare, nursing, midwifery, all of that, there is no point coming to uni because you're going to be in the same position you are before the degree. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's stressing me out so much finding out how many people are applying for the same jobs as me, but they have full university degrees at Russell Groups, first class, in like good courses, and still fighting for their lives trying to get hired at literally like sales jobs, McDonald's, stuff like this. And it's just insane, right? Because growing up and like in school, they make it sound like you get your degree and you're sorted for life. All you have to do is get your degree, study for your degree, get a first class 2-1 whatever, and you're sorted. That is not the case anymore. I don't know how it used to be. That is not the case anymore, genuinely. Yeah, if you're considering coming to uni, all I'm saying is, honestly, look at what pathway you're gonna go down, and yeah.
Okay, I just said in my last video that my biggest prediction for hiring trends summer 2023 is going to be hiring freezes. And so it's important for you to know that, because most of the time when a company decides to go on a hiring freeze, they're not telling candidates that that's why they're not hiring them. So they may tell you that they hired somebody else. They may tell you that they're going in a different direction. They may tell you a lot of different things. They may even tell you that they decided you were not qualified. Most of the time, they're not telling you it's because there's a hiring freeze. So keep that in mind. Remember not to be hard on yourself. They are very much going to be like trying to preserve themselves in the market. So again, companies don't normally broadcast that they're on a hiring freeze, and they normally don't tell candidates that the reason.
This right here might be the most practically useful thing in this entire video. Companies go on hiring freezes and they do not tell you. That's the reason you got rejected. They'll say they found a better fit. They'll say they're going in a different direction. They might even tell you straight up that you weren't qualified, and you'll spend weeks replaying that interview thinking about what you did wrong, when the reality is they were never going to hire anyone. She's giving you the question that cuts through all of it. Ask them directly, is this an immediate need? When do you need someone to actually start? If they hesitate or get vague, you have your answer. Stop internalizing rejections that were never actually about you.
Why they didn't hire them is because they're in a hiring freeze. So don't assume that it's because you're not a good candidate, or that you're not qualified, or that you did poorly in the interview process. Like I said, I think there's going to be a ton of hiring freezes this summer. So why do companies continue to interview when they're on a hiring freeze? I said in my last couple of videos that my biggest prediction for summer of 2023 hiring trends is going to be the hiring freeze. Companies do sometimes continue to interview for several different reasons. In my opinion, none of them are great, but let's jump in. The first and probably most common is because they had already posted the job and started interviewing people before they determined they were going on a hiring freeze. So either A, they thought, we might be going on a hiring freeze, let's keep setting up interview steps to keep this candidate engaged in the process. That way we don't lose them if we do end up getting to hire them. But if they end up going on a freeze, they're not going to tell you they're going on a freeze for the same reason why they may continue to post jobs, to save face, to make it seem like everything's fine, nothing to see here, business is going great. And then finally, they may continue to interview so that when business turns around, their time to fill is a lot shorter because they've got candidates in their hiring pipeline. This is why I really encourage you to ask, is this an immediate need? When do you need somebody to start in this position?